We saw purple haze. 1 is 3. Hey, hey, baby, what you do to me?
Fight absurd battles. At a time when we're seeing record overdose deaths, rapid spread of AIDS, they're worried about hemp. It's just, you know, an absurdity.
Yeah.
And so I think their overzealousness in the end will undercut them. And the weight of the drug war will pull them down.
Well,
and they know it.
Yeah, I hope you're right. One thing is...
It won't happen unless people get active, though. And I hope the viewers will come to the website, csdp.org, get informed, and get active. There's lots of ways to get active these days. You can do it right from your home on your computer. You don't even go to the house. There's very strong focus groups that really are working together, and you can have a big impact and end this stupid policy.
Yeah, one source where I do have hope is I believe that truth indeed is on our side, and it is a matter of a return to common sense.
Right.
Just basic common sense. It doesn't take rocket scientists to figure out what the hell's going on here. And I'm reminded of a section in Dr. Fish's book where he said that he believed that we would prevail also, that marijuana, for example, would be assimilated into American culture simply because alcohol was. Because given the less toxicity and so forth associated with alcohol and tobacco for that matter, there's just no common sense logical reason for people not to
I think that's true. I mean, I think in the end, that's where really common sense is on our side, and really American traditions on our side.
Could you give us and we're going to close here shortly, and I wonder if you could give us a scenario as how you would envision change coming about.
I think the way the change is going to come about is we're going to first recognize that we can that the weight of prohibition is too heavy. In damaged lives, in incarceration rates, in government expenditures, it just doesn't. It's too heavy for us to handle, and at the same time recognize it's ineffective. And I think then we'll start to open up a dialogue where we'll come to the conclusion that drug abuse is a public health issue primarily, and we'll start to work down that path of solving the problem. I see the United States as much like a country that's at the top of the ladder and figuring out how to get down. We're at the top of this drug war ladder. We've gotten there. Now we know there's nowhere to go, and we got to figure out how to get down. What we have to do is find ways to take those steps slowly down. And I think issues like marijuana, medical marijuana, hemp, needle exchange, treatment on request, methadone availability, pilot programs experimenting with heroin prescription, experiments with regulating the marijuana market will be steps down that ladder. And I see in the long run approach where where addicts and abusers have easy access to treatment, where people who use drugs in an infrequent way that don't hurt themselves are not hurt by the law, and where we recognize we can get better control of the drug market by regulating it and taxing it than we can by prohibiting it. We recognize that we can protect our kids better by a controlled market rather than a criminal market. We can recognize that the facts now show 90% of kids can acquire marijuana, that kids can purchase marijuana easier than they can purchase beer, that they can purchase cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, LSD easier than prescription drugs, and that the real solutions in control are regulation and taxation, and then we'll recognize that prohibition, the use of the criminal law to try to coerce behavior, is a 19th century strategy. It's a simplistic approach. The 21st century requires us to learn from the 20th century and realize that administrative law, regulation, taxation will protect the public better, protect the health better, reduce crime better, and provide better control over the drug market, and thereby protect not only our kids, but our whole communities. And so I think that's where it's going to go.
So you'd picture a series of referendums on these different issues in different states or even in different countries.
Yes.
Moving more in the direction with the movement, you'd picture more legislators coming out actively supporting the kind of
I
progressive.
expect the next presidential race will have Jesse Ventura running in the Reform Party, as he supports decriminalization of possession, regulation of sale. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gary Johnson, the governor of Mexico, running in the primaries at least in the Republican Party. He's an outright legalizer who says we should legalize drugs in order to get control of them, to regulate them and tax them and prevent their abuse. And then we may have Al Gore, who's Puff Daddy Al, and Tripper Gore, the First Lady, Tripper Gore, as our incumbents, and that will be the choices we'll have, in 2004. That'd be very different than anything we've had before. So I think we are really at the cusp of a real debate on this issue. Finally, it's just bubbling up. Elections by voters or initiatives are showing public support.